Hello and Happy New Year to everybody who sees this. I hope you have a safe and prosperous 2021. It's a little bit more positive for you than 2020 has been, for obvious reasons, and we're not going to get into all of that. In this video, this is just a bit of bonus footage. A lot of people aren't really into the mower videos, but I've had trouble with my mower, so we pull it apart and we see what's wrong with it. And also, a wonderful friend of mine, David Godfrey's Husqvarna leaf blower. I pulled that apart, found some issues with it, and ordered some parts accordingly. So I hope you enjoy. Oh, and also looking at the 1600 rebuild B series engine parts as well. So I hope you enjoy. Someone left a comment that I never mow the lawn, and they're kind of incorrect and kind of correct. I never mow it when I'm supposed to. The dogs started digging holes everywhere, and I would break my neck on that. Silly thing. I've been having a big cleanup. So, all I've got left for a B series is that cylinder head on the bottom, which has got bits and pieces, valves, old valves and stuff like that, and that box there. That's it. That's all I got. And that's good, because I managed to throw so much stuff out. There's a lot of lawnmower stuff down here, and I've got to actually repair my mower. But I do have to go through here and get a few more things out and clean up. The car, that if I got rid of starlets and had finished with those all together, I would be able to throw a million things out. I've got so much starlet stuff. There's an XC grill up the back, and I've got to put these trims on. They're the sill trims. One of them's a Fairlane one, but there's some of this is mum's stuff too from that from when we moved her. So, there's all sorts of stuff. In fact, if I got a starlet body, a bare body shell with a windshield in it, a run-in front door, one headlight, pair of struts at the front, and a suspension beam at the back, I have everything here to build another car. There's even a bonnet there. Absolutely everything. And it wouldn't be a bare bones starlet, it would be a power steering, air conditioned, sports dash central locking car too. I've got everything here for those cars. There's three gearboxes under there too. Anyway, I'm going to continue cleaning up, and I'll be back. So if you were keen on this little series on the B series engine, you're going to love what's coming up. At some point, a 1600 MGA spec type of thing, if you know what I mean. There's a whole lot of plated stuff in there. Has a Rico head. It's not an MG head, so we're going to have less horsepower than an MG will have because it's got smaller valves and ports, but it's a Rico. This generator, which I've sort of given a tentative recondition to, that looks in great condition. That's the better of the two that I did. The other one, of course, is hidden beneath there. You probably already, is that focusing? Yes, this stuff you probably will have seen. This is the better of the tinware, if you want to call it that, the sheet metal stuff that I've kept for the 1600 engine, including this later timing cover, which uses the proper seal, and of course that's the better of the two rock covers. Even though that one's not perfect, it's infinitely better than the one we had before. And of course the parts bounty. VRS set, again, copper head gasket and all the other stuff. That I opened to trace around to make the sub gasket for the other one, so we've got a full top and bottom end gasket kit there. Just bits from the engine that I had hydroblasted. Slinger, and I didn't have push rods, so I've got some nice straight push rods. Had them all blasted, that's all good. Big end bearings, which I haven't given the machine shop yet. Tough threaded rocker shaft. Now we have to use that in conjunction with, that's a spigot bearing, or spigot bush. We have to use, there's some studs for a thermostat housing. They're the Surs that I made, the brass ones. So I've got a set of those as well. I do have to get another set of inlet manifold studs as well, and exhaust manifold studs, because I used the ones that were supplied for this on the other one. I'm going to leave it there, they're very cheap. A tab set, a lock tab set for the conrods and the flywheel and all that sort of stuff. What else is in here? A heavy duty timing chain. And set of lifters, new cam followers. We'll get the cam ground. I haven't done anything about that yet. A box containing rocker bushes, which have to be reamed to fit that shaft. So I've got the rockers over in a box over there, and so there's a bunch of those as well. So we can put all new rocker bushes in with a new tough-threaded shaft. That'll be good. There's a box here full of, you know, the jack shaft for the what do you call it, oil pump and distributor, and some head studs, and I've kept the Welsh plugs just so I can measure new ones off when I get them. These are easy to fit with a socket. I've shown videos on it years ago. The ones that I've just put in there in the 1500 I hit with the drift, and I got a bit of criticism for the way I did it, which is fine because I didn't know what I was doing. But I said that from the get-go. This is a water pump. It's a new water pump. Different from a 6-cylinder 2481. These are very reasonable as well. It's a cast iron one. So I've got a new water pump for it. We also have a timing, what have we got? A timing chain tensioner set. Again, ridiculously cheap stuff. Very, very, very reasonable. And to be a bit kinder to our engine, I've got a proper harmonic balancer. This is far better than the straight pulley that they use. It's incremented for accuracy. That's much, much better. It'll be a lot kinder to the engine using this. And that wasn't as dear as it looks. A good one for a Cleveland can be $500 or $600. That was $150 or something. It was fairly reasonable. Now the rest of the parts, cam bearings and pistons and so forth, are at the engine builders now. And I've got to take the pistons in, or the rods in, just so we can clearance everything, and then I'll clearance it again when I get it back here. So that's where we're up to on the 1600, where I think the machine work's probably been done by now, but I do have to take some other parts in. So I'll leave it there for that, and we'll talk about something else. Oh, spider watch. Let's see if this one needs to be murdered. Hang on, what is he? I think he's just a... Let's have a better look at this guy. There he is. Oh, he's alright. He's alright. He's a bloke who's very, very highly responsible for getting rid of flies. So he can stay. I like him. Those ones, I think, tend to live up in areas like this. They're brilliant. We've had a couple inside in the corners of the windows, and the amount of blowflies and just flies and insects they get rid of. So that's a tunnel for one. And they really aren't interested in you. They're just interested in eating flies, like most spiders. They're no threat. So I think that's what he is. Okay, so I did the lawns. This thing's got a problem in that it's got a really horrendous noise coming up in it. A knock in the big end. So we're going to have to fix that. Now, I've had 2 of these in 30 years. Since I moved out of home, the first one, the chassis all cracked all around where the motor mounts and everything. And like an idiot, I threw the whole lot out. This one I bought soon after that for $80, and I've had it now for about 15 years, and it's got some wear in it which I've got to rectify. And the dog's joining me. Hello, Ovi. So I'll start up and I'll show you what I'm talking about. That's why, Missy. Yeah, that's not great. So I think what we'll do now is pull it to bits. And I apologise to people who don't like lawnmower videos, but I really need this thing to work. So I kind of had to do this anyway. Whether or not I film it's a different thing. But I've got a Briggs that a guy, a lovely American bloke, donated a electronic ignition and a manual and all that sort of stuff. So we could drying off a bit. Now I've taken that off. Yeah, it's already getting a bit of heat into it. I'll have to take the rest off with it. I've got to take the the blades off. I'll get my rubber gun out and get a bit of that. There's going to be a bunch of mower people watching this, and I don't know anything about these things really. I know a little bit, but not that much. Not nearly as much as a lot of people do. I don't even know if that's the right size socket. No, it's not. Anyway, let's just try and take this off. Stop leaking. I've got to get these fittings to that. There we go. That's a bit better. This is a 4-blade one. It's supposed to be 2. The guy I bought the mower off was wrapped because he found a 4-blade one and put it on. Anyway, that's that done. I'll just pop that in. I might take all that off. Hopefully I don't need pullers and all this sort of stuff, although I've got a hunch I'm going to need them. They're the little engine mounts. We'll undo those next. I've got to try and figure out how to get the cable off though. I'm just going to blow some of this muck off. It's got a throttle cable running down that tube. Oh yeah, it's a lot easier to see. Cool. Much better. Mower people can be quite funny. There was a Mesmo Engineering. He put a 4-cylinder bike engine in the lawnmower, and I dropped a comment because he seems like a great guy, and someone else is coming with, oh, it's not as good as a Boland's, whatever, I don't know what it was, and he's banging on about this ride-on mower from the 80s, and I just thought, you're an idiot. And he starts having to go at me. Right, that cable just looks as though it just pulls out, but I've no idea. Can I just turn that? Let's be butchers. Let's just pull off. There you go, that came off. I'm sure that just comes off. Oh, yeah, I thought it did. Cool. Bananas. Right. Oh, it's all full of muck too. That can't be good. Well, there's an old saying, she'll be right. Right, are you going to come off like a good boy? Oh, that is a good boy. Alright, so I can get rid of this bit. That's in very good condition. I've got to figure out why it's full of muck though. Was that muck that I was the reason for it going in? It's a real mess. It's been picking up a whole lot of muck, so I've got to sort of pull that apart. It's all in the hose as well, and the reason, oh pardon me, is the hose is split in so many different places where it's been folded up over the years, so we need a new hose for it. I've loosened these off. I replaced the blades not that long ago. They're probably still serviceable, but I will put new ones on. The main thing is to make sure there's no cracks in this thing, because if it is, it's game over. I need to buy a new one, and you probably can still get new ones. But we'll put that away for now because I don't need it yet. I guess the first thing to do is just clean off some of the loose stuff. I don't know anything about these. I'm sort of looking at it thinking there's probably not much to know, but then that's the best way to fall into a mechanical trap of thinking you know what you're doing. And there's little secrets. Every mechanical object has its own set of secrets, and sometimes if you're paying attention you can catch them. Other times you miss them, you do a whole lot more work than you need to. But whatever the case, I'm always open to comments with this sort of stuff. I got sick of some of the ones on the Falcon because, on both Falcons, because you know, everyone's got a mate who's built 200 of these and they said you're wrong because of this. And I got sick of that because most of the time it was just someone, you know, someone being naughty. And one guy, you know, called me all sorts of names under the book, but it was obviously, I think, just a bit of envy. So these things, yeah, I don't really know what I'm doing, and so I'm just going to try and nut it out as I go. We have the Briggs for a buck, where that lovely American gentleman sent me an electronic ignition and a book of words and all that sort of stuff. Hydroblaster's not around until January 11, and I thought, you know what, I'll just get that mower going. But I have another Victor Mayfair, so you know, I can use that in the meantime while I'm trying to figure this out, or while I'm repairing this one. But I think the first thing to do, we'll take the top case off. I've loosened this flywheel while I had the rail gun out, and I want to take the muffler off. I want to take that top shroud off. It'll be Imperial, I'm sure. 3/8, yep. And I can't be bothered going around some chairs in the way. I'll go with the socket. I'm being lazy. Just a minute. It's better if we use the right tools. So the mower joints will all be closed at the moment. It's New Year's Eve tomorrow. And I'll just have to pull it apart and then wait. But it'll give me some time, because I've just done the lawn yesterday. It'll give me some time to put together something else just to cut the lawn. And then by then, I should be right with this. And now we're 7/16. This switch we put on last time, a couple of years ago, which I found great. It's, you know, you're out the back and you've got to go out the front, and with this place, because it's so crowded with cars and that sort of stuff, I have to shut the mower down and get it across the deck and then out the front. And that means I can just turn it off and then just give it a yank out the front, and we're off at the same speed. We don't have to adjust the throttle or anything. So that's what that is. Let's take that HT clip off, and we'll see what lies beneath. I can't remember anything of this. I didn't pay any attention last time. I was just pulling stuff off. There's the switch. Okay. These jobs are fantastic because I'm sort of doing them while I'm looking at the Falcon's guard, because that's just not much of a video in that, but it's a lot of work. So I can sort of do that alongside these sorts of jobs, and it just makes it so much easier for me to bring content out at a semi-regular basis, or on a semi-regular basis. And you know, it ticks a lot of boxes. I'll know more when I get this off. Right. Where does that pipe go? What does that do? Ventilator or something? Who knows? I don't. So that can go in there, because that's for the head. It's got that decompressor thing too. I think that's what that is. I'm not sure. The old ones didn't have that. Oh, I think I got it. Did I get it? Right. Come on, you son of a gun. So close. I haven't got a puller. And you can tell because I'm being stupid doing it that way. There's that little keyway. We'll just stick that against the magnet so I don't lose it. Right. And there's that coil and all the other bits that go on in there. Let's just take that stuff out. Let's just say that right now. Because I want to take the thing off this way, because it's going to be cleaner than trying to get that other thing off. And that's fairly good. And we've got this wire, we've got that one. Come on, you, out you get. Splendid. And we've just got a coil, really simple stuff. Whoops. Coil, condenser, set of points. And so I think I cleaned them up last time. I'll put new ones in. We'll see. Now, there's also that thing. So I reckon now we can pop the head off, pop the barrel off. There's a seam there. And we'll do it properly. We'll give it a nice clean up. We'll spoil it. Because it's been such a good little machine. I want to do it well. So we'll buy a few parts. From memory, parts of these aren't here. But most of the parts I've seen online are Power Stroke ones, which are the later ones. I don't know even know if we can get parts for this anymore. So I have to be careful when I pull it apart. I guess I'm going to put my other glasses on so I can see what I'm doing. Oh, that's better. Right, we've got some. It's this. We got plane trees out the front, and they let go of this cotton wool stuff. It blocks up sunroof drains and everything. It's awful. So we should be able to still get gaskets for it. Most of the gaskets I can probably just make. Yeah, it is. It's a little decompressor valve. Yeah. I wouldn't mind putting an older head on. I just think they're better. What's our piston like? Marks in the bore, can you see? There's something a bit loose in there, just a minute. Right. I thought these were half, they're 7/16. And again, nothing's very tight. Oh, the barrel already wants to escape. I wonder if it was an apprenticeship at a lawnmower mechanic. I suppose it would be, wouldn't it? Let's just pull you off. Oh, look at that. And that looks like a barrel. Oh, that's banging around there. But is that causing the noise? Like, it just sounded the knock's getting worse. And it probably only is a slight bit of play that's making all these horrendous noises. Oh, that's it. Oh, wow. Hello, Alana.
Hi.
Look at that. That is shagged. And it's the piston. Oh, my goodness me. Hang on, I've got to shake this. Alana's here. I'm going to go and get her some food in a minute because she's very, very tired. Let me just lower this for a moment. Oh, that is so knackered. We're lucky it didn't break. Check this out. If I turn that, can you see the... Oh, hang on a minute. The gudgeon pin there. Can we see it? Just a moment. Where is it? It's up there. Hang on, Missy. It won't be long. Right. Look at that. That is so ready to fail. Let's just pop this piston out. And I'll just go back out like that. I'm just going to take the piston out and see what the hell is it. This is. Oh, I can't even get it out. Just a minute. This is the lawnmower, Alana. And it's knocking its head off. And I don't know what it was, the reason. And it was about, I think, to let go in 1,000 big ways. Oh, I can't even get that. It is fuked. Well, we've got oval holes here. So the pin's doing this. And also, it's mobile in that small end bush. You can see there. But not just that. There's too much play in the big end as well. So I need a bottom end for this. Because I don't think that's going to be repairable. It looks like there's a crack in the bottom casing too. I'll have to come back to this. Okay, so this is a crank that needs to be pressed apart to replace the rod. So
This is boring. I'm going inside.
you can go inside, love. Life's good. But, you know, it's knackered. We're sort of marked up there. Too much play in the big end, too much play in the small end. And the kicker for me is, I reckon, I don't think that's a casting mark. I think that's a crack. Oh, it might be casting. Sometimes they have, oh, that might be casting flash. Right, well, in that case, I'd be inclined to give it a complete overhaul. I really would. I think it's the only way we're going to get another 40 years out of it. So if anyone knows where I can get a crank, I want a rotating assembly for this. I'll have to buy a new piston. The barrel doesn't look too bad. I reckon I can get away with the barrel. I was going to go in. You know what I mean, though. But I need to put rings, a piston kit, and a rotating assembly in it. Because, is that a crack? Because this thing sounded like it was about to let go, and I don't think it was far off letting go. I really don't. This, look at the wear on the ring. See how it's narrow at the top and wide on the sides? This has had it. I know people who like to ask a favour, and quite often they say things to the effect of, I owe you one, or what can I do for you, that sort of thing. And then when you need their help, of course, they're not available. Or the help they give you is not commensurate with what you did for them. There's a lot of people like that, and they don't intend to be like that, they just are. This belongs to a friend of mine who will literally do anything for anybody. And so I wanted to help him, because I don't know that, I'm sure he's got the ability to do this, because he can do anything with wood, he can do anything with metal, he plays guitars, he sings, he's just one of those guys that's musical and practical at the same time. There's not many people like that. The thing I don't like about him though is he's better looking than me and the girls love him. Right, let's have a look. It's a Husqvarna leaf blower, or blower back. It's missing a fastener from here. It's got a very loose carburetor. Apparently it was rock solid, stable, it would always start, now it won't go. So I'm going to have a look, and if it needs any parts I'll pay for them, because this guy's done a lot of work for me. He's written a lot of curriculum. He even made parts for the XC, the EGR plates and all that sort of stuff. Let me get some tools and we'll take this off. Whoa, we'll take this scroll cover off and see what lies beneath. Typical of a lot of this sort of equipment, these Torx bits that are also self-tapping type varieties. I just want to get in here and have a bit of a sticky and see if I can see anything that screams out as being obvious. Now I bought one of these recently, just a Homelight Bunnings rubbish one. A lot of the equipment like this is quite expensive, but much better in terms of quality. So I've just got to try and nut out what's going on with them. So if I need to get some parts, I've got some hope of getting them. All these fasteners are the same length. Let me have a look. Oh, that's right. That's not much going on with that. Well, that develops nothing except the scroll for the fan. Right, well that's 2/5 of bugger all. I need more than that. Take the air filter off. Oh God, clean your filter out. Let's just pull stuff off until we can't pull anything else off. The starter will come off separately, but at least then if there's any problems I can see with it, I can repair things that haven't shown up yet. Bloody hell, this is tight. It's got this throttle. I need to figure that out, so I'm just hoping nothing flies out of here when I take this off. There's only a few bolts holding it on. Let me have a look in here. Yep, but there's nothing in there, it's just a dial. Oh no, maybe that is supposed to be loose. What's going on here? The little primer bubble's working, we can do that and we're getting fuel. But it is leaking. Oh. So let me have a look. Ah, I can see a problem. Let's have a look at this. I thought this was the problem. I thought there was a crack there, but it's actually rubber mounted. But if I use that primer bubble, can you focus down there? We've got ourselves a leak. Right, just a minute. So we'll do the usual BS with this. Oh, I've just dropped the trigger. In that we'll check for spark. Because without spark we've got nothing. I'm tipping it's alright. That is CJ8. I haven't seen one of them for years. CJ6. Right. We should be seeing something. I don't see a spark. He said that's just a momentary switch, but I don't think it is. I think it's supposed to be a permanent one. What is going on with that? Let's take that off. Let's take this off and undo it. It's just a spade terminal type arrangement. Okay, get a spade. I should be seeing a spark there. Which way is it supposed to go? Yeah, it goes that way. I can't see a spark. This switch seems awfully... He thought it was a momentary and it's not. Oh yes it is. Now I thought, because we weren't getting any, what do you call it? Because it was a fuel leak, I thought that could have something to do with it, but I can't get this thing to spark. Well, let's pull this out. Very simple ignition. It's just a primary and secondary winding in a coil. They don't often fail. And by bridging out these two, that against the earth and the primary, that will earth it out and stop it sparking. So whether you disconnect it from the switch or, you know, break that circuit somewhere, it can't earth, so therefore it'll maintain a spark. Now this thing ain't doing anything. We'll do the obvious and just clean up everything. I don't think this will do a damn thing, but it's worth a go. And we'll reset that gap. These are very simple. There's no specific ignition module in them or anything. It's all just done by how this is situated in time with those permanent magnets. And they're permanent, right? The closer you get the coil to these permanent magnets, the better your spark's going to be. I'm just going to put that there. And I'll bring it over a bit, and then I'm going to stick this on like that, and then withdraw it. So we'll see if that does anything. And then we'll pull that out and we'll see whether that gets us. Is that the right way around? I'm wondering if that lead might be damaged too, and you can't replace those, they're sort of part of the coil. But if it turns out it's definitely the coil, I'll just put a new one in. So I'll just tighten that up and see where that gets us. And that's a lot closer. That's a heck of a lot closer. Hopefully we got some result out of it. Just take that off. We don't need that. Take that throttle linkage off. Do we need that? No, I don't think so. And down here. Not a sausage. Have I got another plug? I wonder if that's knackered. Let me just try one. Hang on. I've got no spark. I've been trying this plug off a lovely tasty V8 Falcon and that doesn't work, even though I closed the gap up to virtually nothing. I wonder if that switch works in the same way as all the other ones on the two-strokes I've had anything to do with, where it's normally open. I'm not sure. So I'm just going to pop that in there. Let me get some of these. And I need to know what's going on. Now normally these things are normally open, and when you close them, they earth, but this one could be different, being a Scandinavian thing. I don't know. Oh, that's open. Okay. So the switch works. It's normally open. Sometimes I was wondering if that was meant to sort of normally be closed, but and then open when you hit the quit. But no, that's working. There's nothing wrong with that. It's open and then it earths. So with that all being open like that, that should be producing a spark, and it's not. So I wonder if that coil's cacti. I wonder. It's still got a fuel leak. It still needs looking at in that regard. We've closed that gap up beautifully. If you look there, there's virtually no clearance. And that's, you should be giving a healthier spark because there was quite a gap there before, but it's not helping. So the next thing is, do we get a coil for it? Because I'm tipping that could well be the issue. Not a sausage. So I hope you enjoyed that. These little jobs are necessary. I have to do them anyway, so I decided to film it. It's good doing small jobs like that while I'm doing the guard on the XC because it's pretty thankless, long-winded work. And so it gives me some content to put out. I think I mentioned before. The Husqvarna bits are paid for and at the shop, but I didn't get the message until after the shop had closed, so I think they open on the 11th or something, and I'll just finish that off then. The Victor engine to 125cc and it's knackered. It's had it. The rotating assembly is completely gone, so it might be easier just trying to find a mower with a 125cc engine in it. An earlier Victor. I'll look around and see if I can find one. If anyone seeing this has one and wants to sell it, please let me know. I'd be happy to pay for it and get it into this thing, because otherwise I've got to get, there's a recode crank I think on eBay, and then I've got to get a piston and some other bits and pieces, bearings and all this, and it might just be easier sticking another engine in, not sure. So with that all being said, thanks very much for watching, and again, have a happy new year, and I'll see you soon. What do you reckon? Shit.